Are we?
Good.
Versus?
Reporting.
There's 1 minute to the next meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
New York Racing, Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 102 provides that the New York State Gaming Commission shall consist of 7 members appointed by the governor by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. 4 members being confirmed by the New York State Senate are necessary to afford the commission an ability to establish a quorum and undertake action. This present meeting of the commission is now called to order. This meeting is being conducted by video conferencing in 2 locations, New York and Schenectady. Both locations have been appropriately noticed and accommodate public attendance. Ms. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Ron Crotty,
Here?
Sylvia Hamer,
Here.
Peter, Martin Mack.
Here.
Peter Machete,
here.
Brian O'Dwyer,
Here.
Marissa Shorenstein,
Here.
Jerry Skurnick.
Here. Ms. Secretary, please have the record reflect that a quorum of qualified members are present, thus enabling the transaction of business. Please note that Commissioners Mack and Machete are in Schenectady and that bilateral visual and oral communications between New York and Schenectady have been established. Mr. Chairman?
Minutes of the meeting of the commission meeting conducted on December 16, 2024 have been provided to the members in advance. At this time, I'd like to ask the members if there are any edits, corrections, or amendments. Hearing none, Ms. Secretary, please let the record reflect the minutes were accepted as circulated. We will now go for the consideration and appointment of the Gaming Facility Location Board. Mr. Williams.
By New York Racing, Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 109A, the commission is required to select 5 individuals to serve as members of the Gaming Facility Location Board for the additional licensing process. The commission staff's search for qualified, unconflicted individuals to serve has led to the identification of 4th and 5th members who have been advanced for commissioner consideration to be members of the Gaming Facility Location Board. Their names, biographies, and conflicts review had been previously circulated to members.
I'd like to state that I appreciate the potential candidate's desire to accept this task. It is truly a public service. Members serve without compensation in a very limited license situation. Few people will be pleased at the conclusion of the process, except those that are selected, of course. And with many constituents, so much media interest, decisions will inevitably be questioned. This is a monumental task. The casino licensing process has a lot of work to do. Capital investment, directed construction employment, incremental tax revenue. Projects will offer the possibility of tangible changes to their host locations. I can tell you that in my mind that this is one of the most consequential efforts that the state will take in many a year. It will make a difference in the lives of many, many people, and of course, in terms of the state. I have had the opportunity to talk to both of the candidates, Mr. Reimers, who was here today, and Mr. Phillips, who was not able to make it today, due to the late notice. Both of them, as I have reviewed their resumes and talked to them, are uniquely and wonderfully competent in terms of of their work. I wish them, first of all, I want to give the thanks of not only of the commission, but frankly, the people of the state of New York for their work on this, which is going to be monumental and life-changing. And so I would accept a motion, first of all, to accept the appointment of Marion Phillips III to the Gaming Facilities Location Board. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Anyone want to discuss Mr. Phillips? I know you've all had an opportunity to review his curriculum vitae. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Reimers is here, and thank you for coming, and thank you, Greg, for being part of it. We discussed the other day You're taking on a monumental task with lots, not everybody is going to be happy at the very end of this, as you well know, but and you are, it seems to me, having read your resume, that looks to me like you've been preparing this your entire life. So, and and there is going to be many instances where we're going to need your unique qualifications and experience. So thank you for taking care of this. And as I said, you have my thanks and really the thanks of the people of New York for being here. And I look forward, as well as the staff, to working with you in the ensuing months to get this monumental and important task done. May I have a motion to accept the appointment of Greg Reimers to the gaming facilities location? Mr. Crotty. Second?
Second.
Commissioner Skirnick, discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. It says here, congratulations to both, maybe commiserations to both is a better word, but thank you all. All right, now we'll move on to the executive director's report.
Thank you. Today, I'd like to touch upon a few items related to charitable gaming, the governor's executive budget, and a rule proposal staff is considering advancing. First, the Division of Gaming is refocusing training and education outreach with the scheduling of a monthly online seminar series commencing on February 12th and continuing the second Wednesday of each month. The seminars are designed to help interested organizations and municipal clerks learn about and comply with the various laws, rules, and regulations governing charitable gaming. How to obtain a Games of Chance and/or bingo identification number, the first step in applying for a license to conduct charitable gaming in New York, and the various reporting obligations and financial reports will be subjects for discussion. Pre-registration is required, and if a party has a specific issue or question, advance notice of such will assist in ensuring that the query can be appropriately addressed. Registration will open about 2 weeks before each event and will be promoted on our website and through social media. A longer-term goal of the division is to create short, issue-focused modules on specific areas of most common interest, accessible 24/7, on demand, and posted on the Commission's YouTube page. Last week, the governor proposed her executive budget. Within were 5 items that relate to gaming. Several are tax-related proposals or extenders of previously approved laws that are set to expire. These include amending and simplifying the pari-mutuel tax rate structure, temporarily extending the lower commercial casino slot taxation rates, extending certain pari-mutuel tax rates and simulcast provisions, and allowing Capital District Off-Track Betting Corporation to conditionally access and use their capital acquisition funds. The 5th item is to fund and conduct a study of the thoroughbred fetlock joint injury through advanced imaging. The executive builds upon last year's assembly proposal, but formalizes the approach in the nature of an academic grant proposal with specifically defined aims. The study would be conducted at the Cornell Ruffian Equine Specialist Facility, which is located across the street from Belmont Park, and would be funded through an additional 1% market origin fee in effect for 3 years. NYRA is also providing a $2 million grant to subsidize the acquisition of advanced imaging equipment. Commission staff will also be circulating a request for pre-proposal comments as we consider asking you to propose an amendment to an aspect of our self-exclusion rule. Specifically, we are considering recommending that the Commission's statewide self-exclusion program be exclusive in New York, and that licensees be prohibited from establishing or maintaining alternative self-exclusion programs. Presently, the Commission's statewide self-exclusion program provides that a person who elects to self-exclude is then prohibited from participating in gambling activity in New York broadly. For example, a person who joins our self-exclusion program at a video lottery gaming facility is prohibited from wagering at a commercial casino with sports mobile wagering licensees and at horse tracks and with the New York Lottery. Even if a licensee has a well-intentioned private self-exclusion program, maintaining such a program may have the undesirable an unintended effect of diverting a person in need of problem gambling assistance, and from the broader self-wide exclusion program, thus enabling their play with other licensees. Later today, Secretary Buckley will be circulating a request for pre-proposal comment on this matter. We also will be posting this request on our website. We'll be looking forward to responses by 1 month from today, February 27th. If determined to meet to propose a rule request, we will likely do so for our March meeting. Finally, as a point of information, the Franchise Oversight Board is scheduled to conduct its first 2025 meeting on Friday. The first meeting of the year is generally limited to consideration of NYRA's operating budget and consideration and approval of NYRA's capital budget. There will likely be a robust discussion of the Belmont redevelopment project and status of the quality of life backstretch projects. For anyone interested in the proceedings, the link to the webcast is on the Franchise Oversight Board's website. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Executive Director. Any questions of our Executive Director on his report? Hearing none.
I'm not on schedule.
Yes. I have a couple of pictures I can circulate of the walls going up. The steel hasn't been swung yet, but the cement has been poured. Okay.
To the commissioners, in late December, I participated in a video conference call with a mobile sports wagering licensee regarding practical implementation of the challenges of meeting with the requirements of the Commission's advertising regulations. And let me say parenthetically, I don't think any of us were prepared for the explosion of internet sports gambling. And the state has gotten enormous revenue out of it, and an awful lot of good has come of that. However, I think all of us here have to be aware that along with that great benefit comes great responsibility. And the responsibility we have is to ensure that, and not to be blind to the possibility that people will abuse it, abuse the gambling, and that they will engage in problem gambling, and people will be hurt unless we take strong actions to try and at least ameliorate some of those negative consequences. And I'm acutely aware of that, as is our executive director, as are the commissioners. In doing that, we have set a number of commission regulations. And over the last few weeks, I have spent far too much time listening to the sports ads as opposed to the sporting events and going on from there. But the legislature has given us really clear direction. The law requires that each advertisement shall clearly and conspicuously state a problem gambling hotline number, which we have through our hopes. The law also draws the definition of an advertisement very broadly. Paraphrased, an advertisement is any notice or communication to the public or any information concerning gaming-related business, licensees, through the publication or any other means. Promotional activities are specifically considered advertising, advertisements. Anybody who has been watching sporting events these days can say that there is a blurring between the pre-event discussions, and what is sports betting promotion. There's also a blurring of what can be considered news, information, and what is in practicality a call for a wager. Either way, we as regulators, our licensees, the operators, everybody in the industry should be in full compliance with applicable laws and regulations, and we should be looking frankly, as a commission, to see whether those regulations that we have are adequate to address the problem or whether new regulations are needed. To that end, I've asked the staff to pull together in the first quarter a meeting of all the stakeholders in this industry. That would be the New York State Office of Addiction, OASIS, New York Council on Problem Gambling, the licensees that we have, and the other interested parties, and see whether we can get full compliance with the law and whether we should be doing other things to assure that the problem of problem gambling is adequately addressed. The staff will be having a meeting, and I will chair that meeting, and I will report back to the commissioners at our next meeting as to the date and time that we will have that. I've also noticed an uptick in activity that is generally referred to as social gaming. The activity, and I think many of you have seen this on TV, where people are encouraged to engage in gambling or gambling-related games online with a social network or media platform using non-value virtual currency. I've instructed that this activity, several operators seem to be skirting the law or quite possibly may be violating the law. That is that when a patron runs out of virtual chips, he is encouraged to continue playing by buying more chips. With other operators, there is an ability to patron to use a secondary market to trade virtual chips for something of value. I have serious concerns that these operators are doing business inside of state and running afoul of New York's penal restrictions on unlawful gambling. I have discussed this with our staff. They have made several referrals to law enforcement, and they are assisting in case development. I can assure my fellow commissioners and the public that if this activity continues and is found to be in violation of New York State's gaming law, that we will do everything possible to assure that that law is protected and respected. I will inform the commissioners at our next meeting as to exactly what we are going to be doing and what the law enforcement and officers are going to be doing in terms of those activities. It is serious, and it's getting far more serious, and I think many of you have seen those ads. Finally, before I conclude, I'd like to call attention as your chairman to the impending retirement this Wednesday of Deputy Executive Director Ronald Okra. Ron is a long-serving government professional who first entered state service while pursuing a doctorate in political science at SUNY Albany and at the Nelson Rockefeller College. During his academic venture, he took employment as a Senate senior legislative analyst in the Office Council of Assemblyman Majority Dan Walsh, and he has functionally been in state service since. His experience is substantial, holding positions of increasing responsibility over time. He was worked the legislative associate, the Assembly Majority Leader, Jim Talon's research office, positions of Chief of Staff to Assembly Majority Leader Michael Bragman, Director of the Assembly Majority Task on Workers' Compensation Reform. Following his service with the Assembly, Ron was employed as Special Projects Coordinator with the Director of Minority Information Service with the Senate Minority. After a short window of private sector employment, Ron rejoined the state, having appointed Executive Director of the New York State Racing and Wagering Board. Following the 2013 merger, Ron served as Director of the Division of Horse Racing and Pari-Mutuel Wagering and is the Commission's Deputy Executive Director for Operations. Ron has used his statistical background to help identify and analyze data relative to hundreds and hundreds of races. His attention to detail and tireless service regarding horse health and safety has made the sport undeniably safer, and he will be greatly missed. I want to also add my own personal thanks to him when I came on. Our executive director made the unfortunate choice for Ron of having him take me aboard and teach me about all the aspects of the gaming commission. I couldn't have had a better teacher, and I appreciate the work that he has done. I can tell you that we will all wish him well in his retirement, but we will greatly miss him and his work. Ron, to all of us, congratulations. Hearing nothing further, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Agree with your comments. Very gracious. Thank you for making them. And then motion to adjourn.
Second. All of white? Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Machete. Thank you, Commissioner Mack.